Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Sunday Lives. If this is your first time joining the lives, I say this every time, every Sunday. If this is your first time joining the live, welcome. Please make sure you leave your name in the comment box and where you are from. I always love to interact with you guys. I always like to see who is joining these lives, like to see where you're from. And if you've already been to one of my lives before, if you are familiar with how this goes, welcome back. So usually what I like to do is I like to give it like a minute or two just to let people enter the room, especially because I think the announcement for the live may have gone up a little bit late today. So I'm going to give it a minute or two. But if you're already here, if you've already joined me on the live, drop a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from. If you don't know who I am, my name is Danny, and I am one of the head coaches here at Love and Advice TV, the With My Ex Again project. And I am doing a question and answer today. So basically, any questions that you may have pertaining to your specific situation, that is what we are doing today. The one thing that I will ask is some patience, obviously, because I usually get a lot of questions on here. So I try to get through as many as I possibly can, but the lives are usually scheduled for about 20 or 25 minutes. So we will try to answer as many questions as we can. Let's see. Hi, I'm Augustine from Nigeria. Hello, Augustine from Nigeria. Parwati, how to handle one side. Not sure exactly what you mean by that, but if you can clarify, that would be awesome. Hi, good morning. Good morning to you as well. Let's see. Let's see, Spooky. I'm not sure what you mean. Let's see. Hello, hello. All right, so we have more people joining the room, so I'll give it one more minute. So as you are joining the room, please let me know who you are, where you're from, all that fun stuff. Again, my name is Danny. I'm one of the head coaches here at the Happily Committed Project, and I am currently in Los Angeles. That is where I am right now. I will actually be going to Miami mañana. So let's see. Lucas Hall, Vermont, what's going on? Victoria, good morning. How are you? Hello from Greece. Hello from India. NYC, the UK, Kazakhstan. That's amazing. Let's see. Okay, guys. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to jump right into the questions just so that we don't waste any more time. Hello from Amsterdam, Philippines, Phoenix. Amazing. This always, I say this every single week, but it blows my mind what we can do with technology, with the internet, where we can all come together from all different parts of the world in the same room. It's freaking crazy, blows my mind every single time, but I love it. All right, so the way that I usually do this is I will try to start in the beginning. So as the questions come in, I'll basically try and go in order of the way the questions came in. However, obviously, I know that that makes it difficult because as people start to comment, then whoever's comment is on the very bottom most likely will not be answered. So I will start to kind of switch it up and just pick random questions just so it's a little bit more fair. So let's start off with the first few questions and see where we go. Smriti, I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. I am horrible with names and I have a tendency of butchering them. So how to bring an ex after breaking up twice. So this one is a little bit of a complex one, right? Because if you have already broken up twice, that means that there is a pattern that has already been established within your relationship and the dynamic, which means if something goes right, if something goes wrong, if you have a tendency of arguing about the same things, then it's kind of a reminder of the reasons for why you broke up in the first place, which only further validates the breakup itself, which then probably perpetuates a second, third, fourth, fifth breakup, right? So for me, the one thing that I will say is that if you want to be able to get back with your ex after you break up with them for a second time, or they break up with you for a second time, it's really about taking a step back and evaluating what has gone wrong in the relationship twice already, right? So what are the top points of contention within the relationship, right? What needs and expectations are not being fulfilled for you? What needs and expectations are not being fulfilled for your partner? And at this point, right, it would be just about having a very upfront, clear conversation about what it is you would want out of the relationship and what things need to be worked on. Sometimes you can apply strategy in regards to reattracting somebody and doing all of those things. But when you're talking about multiple breakups already, at that point for me, which is already kind of a red flag, right? At that point for me, it's more so just about being very upfront and honest and transparent about what it is you would want to see in the relationship. And if that's something that you feel is not a possibility, it may be time to reevaluate the situation and ask yourself whether it's worth it to get back into the relationship or not. So again, for me, sit back, think about what your needs and expectations are, what things were not being fulfilled for you in the relationship or for your partner. Have you had the ability to work through those things, right? Personally. So spend time, taking time for yourself and really work through those things. And then just have a very clear and open conversation. And if the conversation doesn't go the way that you want and you feel like your ex is not really willing to reciprocate, invest the time or the energy, then it's probably high time that you move on from the situation. Let's see. How to make them regret losing you after they rejected you. So I think this one in particular, it's more so about the reasons for the rejection, right? So was there any communication around the reasons for why they rejected you, why they were not interested, any of those types of things, right? So for me, if you're wanting to make a person jealous or regret or upset that they did not choose you, it's really just about focusing on you, right? So, what things can you do for yourself to improve or elevate your value? And what I mean by that is not that you're not a valuable person already, right? But what parts about yourself do you feel like you still need to improve on? Is it physical health? Is it mental health, emotional health, nutrition? Is it just the general aesthetic, right? Do you feel like you are at the top of your game when it comes to the way that you present yourself to the world, the clothes that you're wearing, the haircuts that you have, like those types of things? And look, I'm not the biggest person when it comes to like superficiality, right? And leading with external image, but it has been proven that updating your external look and feeling confident about yourself on the outside also helps the internal. So here's what I would say. Focus on those things, right? Become the best version of yourself. And to be honest with you, utilize your social media to kind of post these improvements and what you're doing. I wouldn't say do it all the time because then it becomes really obvious what you're doing, right? Be consistent with it, but not overly consistent, and don't overpost, and allow that to speak for you. You don't have to go out of your way to try to show them, convince them, bump into them. You just have to shift your mindset for yourself, change the energy that you're putting out, do some maybe minor upgrades that you feel that you can be doing for yourself that you've been wanting to work on anyways, and then just post it on social media. And at the end of the day, she will most likely see it. He will most likely see it, whatever the case may be. And you know what? If there is no social media here and you guys don't have social media, again, it's really just about focusing on you and making the changes that you need to make in order for them to see it as well. Let's see. My ex told me not to contact her and I blocked her. Will she come back to me? That is a tough question to answer because it's a very generalized question. And for me, in those types of circumstances, right, if she asked you to block or she asked you not to talk to her, you blocked her, all those things, there's a lot of history here, right? There's some resentment, some anger, some frustration, some resentment, whatever the case may be. So I feel like I would need to know a little bit more about the situation in the circumstance in order to provide you with a more solid answer, if that makes sense. Let's see. How to overcome my ex after 2 years. This is actually a question that I get all the time, right? And I think big part of this when it comes to overcoming an ex has a lot to do with your mindset and where you are in life, right? Are you satisfied with the things that you are doing? Do you feel like you have value? Do you feel like there is a void that needs to be filled? And if that void needs to be filled, what are you filling it with, right? A lot of the times when we get stuck thinking about our ex and not being able to get over it and wanting to try it again over and over and over and over again, it's because there's something that is missing within our own personal lives that we have not necessarily either A, figured out quite yet, or we're trying to fill it with external distraction, right? The other part of that is when we break up with somebody, if we had a committed relationship, if it was a long-term relationship, even if it's a short-term relationship and it was just very intense within that short period of time, is we actually end up missing the future that we could have had with that person. So we negate and we forget about the present, right? Where we are currently in our situation right now. So I think one of the biggest things and one of the exercises that I usually recommend for people is whenever you start to have these intrusive thoughts about your ex, take a minute to sit down and write down what you're grateful for now. Not about your ex, not about the future that could have been, not about what happened in the past, what you are grateful for in the present right now. Is it that you are financially stable? Is it that you can have a roof over your head? Is it that you have, or you're working on your personal fitness goals and you feel like you're seeing improvements? Is it that you mended a relationship with a family member? Whatever the case may be, whatever you are grateful for in this moment, sit down and write that down, because as you do that and as you make that part of your daily practice or your weekly practice, it helps to pull you back into the present moment so you're not wandering in the future or the past, right? There's a pretty famous quote that I love, and I can't remember who is the person who's the person that said it, but it's basically, if you are living in the past, you're depressed. If you're living in the future, you're anxious, right? So the goal is to be in the present moment, and I think that exercise will be very helpful for you. So hopefully you can try that. All right, guys, so we are at the 12-minute mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to select some questions randomly because there's a lot of questions coming through. So let me pick at random. Here we go. Sorry, guys, there's a lot of questions coming through. Smriti, thank you so much for the kind comment. I appreciate that. I am focusing that energy back to you as well. So on Poppin' Opinions, why is an ex continuing to be angry 2 years after the breakup? So that has everything to do with them, right? That has nothing to do with you. Now, the only thing that I would say, if it has anything to do with you, is if you continue to kind of push buttons, if you continue to try to contact them and talk about the relationship and things that went wrong and all of those things, right? Because that can keep somebody in that breakup state, right? If they are still super angry after 2 years, I have two questions for you. Number one, what happened that led to the breakup, right? My assumption would be is that there had to be some level of severity for your ex to still be angry 2 years later, right? So some kind of breach of trust or breaking of trust. Maybe they felt abandoned. Whatever the case may be, right? It has to be a heavy feeling for them to still not be over it. But at the same time, everybody processes breakups and their emotions differently, right? So I don't want you to feel at this point responsible for them still being angry. That is on them. They have to figure out how to work through those feelings, right? Because if you're still holding on to something 2 years later, that means that there is a high possibility that they are somebody who compartmentalizes their emotions and their feelings, right? And when they're triggered, it just comes out. So I would say to you, my man, it's whatever the reason, because I'm not 100% sure and I don't want to guess as to why they are, but at the end of the day, it's not your problem. It's not something that you should be concerned with. It's something that they need to work through and they need to figure out. Let's see. Simon, let's see. Hi, Danny. Is it a good idea to tell my ex that I'm receiving coaching during the reconnection stage? Thank you. I don't see why not. I think when you're reconnecting with an ex, if there's things that you needed to work on in the relationship that you were struggling to work on because of whatever reason, right? Maybe you were tunnel vision because you were stressed with a bunch of external stressors, or maybe there was things happening within the relationship that you just were not able to pull yourself outside of yourself and view the situation objectively. And now in hindsight that you are outside of the relationship and you are working on things for yourself to try to improve and better yourself to be better within the relationship, I don't see anything wrong with telling your ex that you are currently receiving coaching. If anything, I think it will actually help you. So my answer to you is yes, you're good. I would do that. Let's see. Shane. Hi, Coach Danny. My question is how to ask my ex for support for our baby. Thanks, Coach. So that one is really just a straightforward question. If you guys share a child together and your ex is not picking up any of the slack, they are not prioritizing that child, they are not helping you financially, whatever the case may be. For me, in that situation, it's just about having a very direct conversation. I wouldn't talk about the breakup. I wouldn't talk about anything that has to do with the relationship. I wouldn't talk about, your emotions or whether you're frustrated, angry, none of that. I would keep it very, very straightforward, short, clear, and concise, right? So what are your needs? What are your expectations around the care of your child? And what do you expect from your partner in regards to support? So I would plan out what you want to say ahead of time, right? Maybe even write it out so you can view it objectively. If there are certain things that you feel are unrealistic, then I would probably remove them. But whatever you feel is realistic at this point, it's really just about contacting your ex and saying, hey, we need to have a conversation about our child, and then just get right into it, right? There's no need to try to apply a strategy. There's no need to try to approach this from, a very specific angle. No, it's just about having very clear and concise communication about what it is that you need. Let's see. Jesse Hughes, you are very, very welcome. Let's see. Just of. Hope I said that right. Again, sorry if I slaughter your name. Why my ex apologized in a text for the way she ended things. She wants to stay friends and is positive to me, but now she ignores again. So this is actually a very common pattern that I see in these types of situations. When a breakup occurs, right, and you're sitting down and you're processing what happened, maybe you're the person who broke up with your ex, maybe your ex is the one that broke up with you, whatever the case may be. If they broke up with you and there is a level of guilt, shame, regret about the decision that they made, of course, there's going to be a period of time in which they pull away because they feel guilty, they feel bad. And as they process and as they come to terms with the situation, they may feel more confident in reaching out and apologizing about the situation. So that's probably what happened here. Offering a friendship also is, it's a double-edged sword, right? So I usually see one of two things happen. They are wanting to be friends because A, they feel bad about what happened and they feel like to some degree they have to make up for it or have some level of responsibility towards you for the breakup, or B, they legitimately want to be friends. And the only way that you can really tell if that is true is through their actions, right? Congruency. Do their words match their actions? So if they're saying to you, I want to be friends, then for you, put yourself in the headspace of what your relationship is like with your friends. Friendships shouldn't be difficult, right? They should be easy. There's a sense of comfort. You could trust this individual. There's reciprocation in regards to communication, all of those types of things. So if you are not getting that, my recommendation at this point would be just take a step back and wait for her to reach out to you and start to engage so that you can see how much she's willing to invest into building the friendship. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll. Abner, Danny, is it best to leave ex alone when she keeps coming in and out? Last time she came back, I was with someone else and blames me. I'm not 100% sure if I understand the question, but let me try to break this down. So essentially what I think you're saying is it advisable to continue to let your ex in regards to allowing her to be a part of your life or whatever is going on, even though sometimes when she does come back, you may potentially be dating somebody else or whatever the case may be. For me, I think that if you have moved on from the situation and you are actively dating other people and your ex keeps coming back and they're making you feel guilty about dating other people or blaming you for whatever the case may be, I usually advise to just take a step back. Because at the end of the day, if you guys are not on the same page, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to build a solid friendship, to have normal conversation, right? To have a neutral dynamic. And sometimes it's better to just kind of separate yourself from the situation for an extended period of time, and then potentially down the line try to let that person back in and gauge to see how open they are, right? How chill they are. Have they kind of calmed down about the situation? Are they not bringing up the breakup? Are they not blaming you? And all those types of things. So what I would recommend is just take a step back, my man, do your thing, and then maybe consider reconnecting down the line. Let's see. Let's see. Danny, I would love to see Slag Helms Fifth. Danny, I would love to see videos on us, the ones who did them wrong, and how to attract them or gain their trust. I've done the work and still wanting to do more. Absolutely, completely understand. Thank you for the recommendation. We actually do have videos like that on our channel. I would obviously just recommend going through and seeing if you can find any of those videos. But thank you for the suggestion, because I'm actually going to Miami tomorrow to film some more content for the channel for you guys. So that is something that I will keep in mind. And that is something that I will implement into what I am recording. Frageles, I am great. How are you? Long time no chat. I hope you are doing great. Let's see. And hi coach, my ex-boyfriend, best friend, a girl, is manipulating him. My ex-boyfriend's best friend, who is a girl, is manipulating him, doesn't let us be together, and she's a gold digger. How do I get him back to me? That is a tough one, honestly, because at the end of the day, he's going to make whatever decision that he wants to make. And short of you basically calling her out or calling him out and informing him of the type of person that she is, it's difficult for you to involve yourself in that situation, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't really see it turning out in your favor, only because I know that you have his best intentions at heart. I know that you want him to open his eyes and see what the dynamic of their friendship is. But if you involve yourself and you try to convince him of the type of person she is, maybe you've already done that, it will most likely just end up causing more fights and frustration and anger, because essentially what you're doing is you are telling him in a passive way that he lacks good judgment. And for men, one of the things that I've come to find over, many coaching sessions is women want to be understood, men want to be respected. So if you are judging him on his choices, he will take that as disrespect, and it's not going to help your case anyway. So honestly, I would stay out of that situation and let him figure that out on his own, as difficult as that may be, because I know that you want to actively do something. Sometimes the best strategy is to do nothing, to sit and wait it out. So that way you are not public enemy number one. And not only that, if you try to involve yourself in the situation, if you try to convince him, that is only further ammunition for her to utilize to manipulate him into believing that you are the problem, not her. So stay away. Let's see. I'm going to answer a couple more questions and then I'm going to have to jump off here. So let's see. I'm going to scroll up a little bit because I feel like I may have skipped a few. Hello. Chris Altamirano from California. What is going on, Chris? Clark Etheridge. What's going on, man? Good to see you again. Pretty frequent on the lives. So welcome back. Can you explain push and pull in a long distance breakup? 5 years, wrote accountability letter, received a good response, but not ready to connect. So when you say not ready to connect, do you mean you're not ready to connect, or she's not ready to connect, or your partner's not ready to connect? My assumption would be that you're saying they are not ready to connect, since you are the one that wrote the accountability letter, which tells me that you are the one that's willing to connect. In those types of situations, especially when it comes to long distance, it can be a little bit tricky, obviously, because you don't physically have that person in front of you. There's not a geographical closeness in regards to proximity that will help you to reconnect with that person physically, which at the end of the day is the end goal. So I have a couple of questions, obviously, which would be how long ago was the breakup? How long have you guys been broken up for? When did you open up the lines of communication? How long have you been communicating for? What was the level of communication and reciprocation and engagement? So there's a lot of questions that I have before I can answer that question for you. So what I will do, obviously, which I usually do, is I'll drop my email in the comment box. So obviously, if you feel like you need some assistance with a one-on-one coaching session, whatever the case may be, I am more than happy to help you with that. So actually, let me do that right now. I'm going to attach some of these things here. Forgive me, guys. Give me a second. Be patient with me because we are live. So whenever I do these types of things, it takes a minute. Let's see. So I put my email in the chat box. I'm going to put it in a few times just so you see it. I'm also going to attach a link to one-on-one coaching sessions. Look, guys, I know that sometimes I can't get to all of the questions on here because I get asked a lot of questions, which is why I try to do as many question and answer lives as I can. So I'm going to attach the link for the one-on-one coaching session. And this is what I want to provide for you guys because look, guys, I know prices are really high right now with everything, gas, produce, all of that stuff. So the link is there. So make sure you utilize that link to go to the site to book your one-on-one coaching session. But what I also want to do for you guys, since you have joining me on this live, and I kind of want to give it to you just as a gift, is I'm going to provide for you a promo code. If you enter this promo code when you check out for the one-on-one coaching session, it will give you 20% off. So here it is. Don't lose that. Make sure you utilize that promo code when you're booking your one-on-one coaching session. Let's see. Perfect. All right. So that is actually all the time that I have for you guys today. I'm sorry if I did not get to your question. That is why I have attached my email. So any assistance that you feel like you need, any support that you feel like you need, I am more than happy to help you with. That's why I wanted to give you that information. Let me type it in here one more time for you guys, just in case you missed it. So that is my email, guys. If you have any questions, please make sure you email me. If you want to book your one-on-one coaching session, which I highly recommend, especially if you feel like you just need a little bit more help with your situation, I am more than happy to do that. I have provided you guys with a promo code that you can utilize and that you can enter when you check out. So yeah, go check out the page. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Again, you have my email, and I will see you guys next weekend. I think next weekend is actually Memorial Day weekend, so we can have a little mini celebration on the live. Again, hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Hope you guys have a productive and incredible week. Stay healthy out there, and I will see you guys next week. I will see you.